The United States is going to become the crypto capital of the world. And today, the Secretary of Commerce for the United States has announced that he has acquired a ton more Bitcoin. On top of this today, guys, we are going to be talking about the rumors that Hayden Davis, the one behind Libra token, may or may not have actually committed suicide. RIP out there. We're going to be covering that entire story to hear devastating news. But on top of this, guys, we have news coming out with XRP, potential ETFs. We have Pi Network, something which a lot of people in the comments have asked about over the years, whether or not they finally launched. Is this project legitimate? Where can you get it? We're going to be diving into all of the Pi drama that is circulating on X. And of course, guys, we are going to be breaking down Sonic, which is one of the best moving tokens in the last couple of cycles with Phantom, as it has rebranded itself here. Today, I have, of course, TJ with me on the ones and the twos behind the scenes. And DZ, unfortunately, was here a moment ago, but apparently lost his Wi-Fi. He got rugged. So
yeah, internet crashed.
Yeah, so hopefully he'll tune in here any moment and be back into there. But we got a little bit of snow in Atlanta. It is like flurries. It's not sticking to the ground. It's barely doing anything. And for some reason, our power grids don't know what to do in the middle of Georgia when we get a little bit of snowfall. So good to see everybody here today. We got a lot of people in the chat here. People asking, man, is Joshua still holding on to? We have veteran crypto. Being a veteran in this channel, he knows that Josh is 100% holding it out here, guys. Man, Albin, holy crap, the guys are on time. Dude, we're always out here. Pie's still dumb coming from chemistry, bro. I still can't deposit it on any exchanges when it's trading. That is exactly what we're going to be covering, guys. And we're going to get to the bottom of whether or not this is a scam or if it is legitimate. We'll be doing a little bit of a test here today. But, guys, look at the charts here. Let me pull up Coin Market Cap just to give you guys a whole broad perspective of the market. A little bit of life. Got a little bit of life into it. It's like, Bitcoin got hit by a semi-truck earlier this week. And the paramedics have been doing CPR for 3 straight days. And we got finally the first breath of fresh air. Bitcoin ran up to $98,000 this morning, had a massive sell-off with the opening of the stock market here, but has since started trying to, maybe find a little bit of bottom and reapproach, as the SPX. Look at just this. It's so perfect. Bitcoin literally just following the SPX to a T here. So if the SPX can get some life back into it, maybe we can get that bounce back up into the upside of this market. We'll be covering what's happening on a macro basis and why the SPX is following this pattern, and what that means for Bitcoin here in today's live stream. But on top of this, guys, you have Ethereum still struggling to get past the $2,700 level. I mean, ETH, we're all waiting for some inevitable short squeeze to finally take place. So hopefully that's right around the corner here. But XRP, $2.70. XRP absolutely ripped last night, though. Went up to $2 and what was that? $2.07. I guess it's $2.73 here. This was from, it did hit 274. This was from 260 to 273, 274 here, as Donald Trump spoke yesterday in Miami, and there was speculation around him reposting CoinDesk articles about Ripple CEO himself. So lots of growth happening on the XRP side of the world here. You have BNB, $650 Solana. Man, people believe Solana's dead, guys. Give me your Solana price predictions this bull run in the comments. Throw back at the 172. Top movers here, though, in the last 24 hours. It's got Story, IP, Barachain, some new winners, Celestia, Say, Pith, BitTensor, and Sonic. And what you're going to notice here, too, I really want you guys to take away, what are these projects? These are all newer projects that haven't been around for a very, very long time that are going to be leading these market conditions. So just expect that too on this next leg up. The new shiny objects doing the best here. Barachain worth about, both of these actually almost $1 billion here. Tia, though, get a little bit of life. I got TJ saying something here, though.
No, yeah, Barachain's interesting. Both of those. Story, I think, is an AI play there, like a IP AI kind of deal. And Barachain, interesting. I think started as an NFT project back in the day, back in 2021. And interested. What's that?
It's NordVPN.
Yeah, ad blockers.
It hates me.
Yeah. But I was looking at both of those this morning, and to your point, newer projects at least haven't been around. And then Sonic with the rebrand. That's one you guys know I've been talking about a decent amount the last couple months, really, ever since they did that Sonic rebrand, and it's up, I think, almost 100%. It's just been crushing it in the last month. Yeah, I mean, it's really been doing well in the last month. So now starting to look at some ecosystem plays on Sonic as well. So that's definitely one I've been keeping an eye on. But to your point, watching the newer participants, the newer markets. I want to say, is it Barachain is the one that has the yaps, and people are collecting the yaps and all that sort of stuff. So, that's one thing I would say, especially if you haven't been here all that long. There's always something new in crypto. There's always a way to make money, a way to interact with something going on in crypto, whether it's Barachain, something brand new, and you're collecting yaps or you're getting airdrop points. There's always something else going on. And I did see somebody asked about the studio earlier. Yeah, we are testing some remote things.
There you are.
No, I've actually been on vacation in Florida for a while now, so enjoying some time at the beach with the family, but wanted to still be able to hang out with you guys. And then Josh mentioned snowing in Georgia, so we use those kind of things to test this StreamYard thing for remote call-ins and all that sort of stuff. So we'll be back in the studio. We might even still test this system in the studio because
I'll be gone. Yeah, so next week I'll be gone a little bit, but today I have a root canal, I think. So get to that good old. My mouth's on fire, guys. It's on fire, but we're here for you.
Yeah, who's ever had a root canal? I want to know that. One in the chat if you've.
I'm hoping it's not. They said they need to X-ray it because it's deep, so they got to see what's. We'll see, man. I hope not though, because they are. It's freaking painful right now. I could see it push for 15. And I blocked out for 2 seconds there. So from Barachain, is that what you were covering here?
I was talking about Barachain. I think I mentioned Sonic a little bit. I think they're probably talking about XRP in there or Arrow. A lot of people talking about Aerodrome in there. Yeah, they're probably talking Arrow.
Gotcha. Yeah. I had to close out of the Nord Stream VPN, but still didn't work. It's we're still ad blocked on a lot of sites here. But hey, yeah, we're gonna have to do full breakdowns of these projects here coming up too, because also Story IP taking a lead here, $784 million. Worth knowing exactly how it works, and reading that white paper for everybody here. Top losers though: Onyx Coin here, Litecoin, BitGet, Floki, Uniswap, Movement, Aptos, Mantra, and Caspa here today. And really just, they are the top losers here for the week here. Litecoin, interesting. Just down 1.7%, probably following Bitcoin pretty closely, but it does look like this now, guys. Look at this, $97,200. And we have to point out, this was predicted perfectly from the charts. It is doing exactly what the charts have said Bitcoin was going to do and what Bitcoin is doing. You had this, we're in this trading range right now. It's happening. $91,266 to $106,000 is the trading range that Bitcoin is stuck within right now. We had this nice pattern playing out where we found that support, use it as massive resistance. As soon as it broke through, we've had some decent upside here. So really the make or break number here is going to be around $97,800. You're going to have a decent amount of resistance here. And we've been trading sideways. And let me draw this out for everybody that might be new to see exactly what we're looking at right here. I mean, Bitcoin's really been stuck in this range right here on the daily for now what is almost 2 weeks. Bitcoin's just been stuck in this sideways actions between $95,666 and really that upper band of almost 98K. So we went right back up to the top of that trading range after breaking out of this downward resistance. We're going to need some nice momentum to push it through this level. But if we can break that 98K, you're probably looking at a retest at a minimum of $100,000. So that is very exciting here. We got a lot of news coming out here today. So Joe here, thoughts on Trump buying $125,000 worth of say last night. I believe this was from the Trump Foundation. Maybe announced that I actually haven't seen this purchase yet. TJ, have you seen this yet?
I haven't either. And I'm trying to pull it up real quick and just check the World Liberty DeFi wallet and see if it's in there.
I found it on X here for you. Cointelegraph here today. Trump-backed World Liberty DeFi bought $125,000 worth of say here. Interesting, man. Yeah, I mean, it's good to see. I like that they're accessing more and more networks here. Out of left field, that say was the next project to be accumulated by the World Liberty DeFi themselves here. So we'll see what partnerships ends up rolling through with this. And that definitely explains why say was a top mover here today. So you can see it right here, number 4 in that time frame. A little bit of life into it. Pretty big project out there. Honestly, we'll see what happens. We'll have to go do some research into that again now that they're
because I'm not seeing it when I go to World Liberty Fi.
I see it on
Arkham. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Not seeing it there. So that's interesting.
I love how Mr. Crypto Trump just bought Say. I'm buying 20K worth too.
Yeah, not.
Looks like it's here's some TA here. People looking for a breakout around 26 cents. Man, they think it's going to go to $9 to $14. That's an absolute moon chart there, Knight. Absolute moon chart there. But we got some big news, guys. We got some big news. First and foremost, breaking news. Hayden Davis reportedly dead by suicide amid pressure from coffeezilla here, and government forces, sources say here. Details unconfirmed. Rest in peace. Now, I was going through this chat here. You have Andrew Tate responding, saying all coffeezilla does is run around and soy face. He doesn't offer any value, just cry and scream all day, trying to make people care what he says. Yep, 2 million views, and an allegedly dead 23-year-old now, and he sleeps well at night. So it's interesting that coffeezilla is getting heat. I mean, look, I don't know where you guys stand on this in the chat. You can let me know. I definitely think Hayden was taken advantage of in different ways, but the dude is this is the soy boy. I mean, he extracted and helped extract tens of millions and hundreds of millions of dollars with illicit actors in foreign countries. Like you're putting yourself in a position that isn't very bright. So to feel, I don't think anybody deserves to die like at all, but holy smokes, this is an interesting story. I can't believe people are bashing coffeezilla for breaking a store. Like we need to start holding creators accountable. Like you can't just come out here and extract hundreds of millions of dollars from communities all across the meme coin space and then expect to be glorified and not hated by a number of people. And like for crypto Twitter, crypto X, like us, we're not people. Well, I should be careful when I say we're not the type of people to be violent and threaten people, but we've seen that personally. But in terms of at least the culture atmosphere, I wouldn't be worried about crypto X. I'd be worried about like the government officials and ties to certain maybe gangs or affiliated bad actors that are used to money laundering and whatnot, being mad that you just drained 10 million of their dollars, right? That is the level of actors that they should be worried about.
Yeah. And I do think, I'm not sure this is unconfirmed too, by the way. I think you did say that, but not 100% sure that this has actually happened. But
yeah, we had Bad Fox say he also reached out to Coffee's 100%. Completely true from Bad Fox there. I don't know why people are this is interesting trash. I don't know. Is all the people mad at Coffeezilla the people that have been exposed by Coffeezilla? Is that how this works?
Well, yeah, and most of the time when coffeezilla exposes people, they don't tend to like it. So,
but
we did have a question from one of our members earlier asking about what happens when people buy a lot of crypto. Let's see if I can find it. Here. Can someone explain how there's mass purchases of Bitcoin and Ethereum steadily, but the price doesn't go up? How does that work? And so basically there's different types of purchases. There's also a lot of people selling, obviously. So that's part of it. But there's a lot of these big major purchases are over the counter, which are what they're basically not on open order book exchanges. They're done through a broker dealer to help kind of facilitate a large transaction. And those have by design less impact on the price chart. So if somebody's trying to buy, say you have $1 billion and you're trying to buy $100 million worth of Bitcoin, you don't want the price to just go through the roof when you do it. You're going to spread out your buys. You're going to go to somebody who's going to gather this up for you on a schedule. And so that way it doesn't just spike the price and you can get a lot of what you're trying to get around the current price. There's a lot of people that have services out there that do that. So it's a great question. Happens all the time. A lot of people come in, they're like, wait a minute, I'm hearing BlackRock inflows of this. Why is Bitcoin not at $200,000 yet? And it's because smart money has a way to ladder in. They have this is why we've been stuck in these trading ranges for such a long time. These what they call accumulation ranges, is because as we go up and down, like between 90 and 108 or 105 roughly, the slowly more and more Bitcoin is getting into the hands of the wealthiest people in the world. And then what was the range we were between forever before November was, it traded in that range for like almost 9 months. And I would say every time, and then they're just getting more and more at the peaks and the valleys. They're selling at the top of the range and buying at the bottom of the range over and over and over until people that have less experience get shaken out. And that's how you hear about these huge buys, but the price doesn't get impacted. So
Wesley asked, did you all talk about the guy that burned millions of ETH to send a message about Chinese mind control? We literally dropped an entire YouTube video on it. Definitely a different type of style content on this channel, but it was a very interesting story. So I did report on that. There's a full YouTube video breaking down exactly what happened, as well as, how legitimate it is. And you have to realize that Tether, the largest stablecoin provider, invested $200 million into another BlackRock company, not BlackRock, the asset management company, but a BlackRock neurotech company building mind control devices. So people want to be like, oh, that's conspiratorial. No, it's like they're actually building these things. It's quite entertaining. Very, very interesting to see it come out of here. But yeah, to wrap up this story here with Hayden Davis, he is obviously facing a very real threat of criminal charges. But if you guys missed this, I can't say the word. I'm not going to say the word. But he said he told a friend, I control that N-word, in reference to the Argentinian president, Javier Milei. 25% chance he is jailed this year. And I do want to point out, I don't think he's dead. I think he's on the run. As it turns out, his dad, his father here, Tom Davis, the chairman of Kelsier, his company, it's been uncovered that he was part of Limu pyramid schemes. Following its collapse, he moved the family to Barcelona. He's a convicted felon, and the federal convictions for fraud and identity theft. This is Dr. Tom here, Meteora's trusted partner. So just an entire... I mean, I can't believe it. I did not think the family was, I still don't think they're very smart. I mean, they obviously keep getting caught, so they're not a very smart criminal enterprise here. But we'll see what rolls out. So that will update you guys as we move forward here. Last night, though, this was really cool. We were doing a live stream reacting to Andre Jake's XRP video. Can XRP reach $100? We did a live reaction to it. So if you guys want to know our thoughts, can XRP hit $100? Make sure you guys go watch that. But the ultimate, what ended up happening was, in the middle of our live stream, we weren't expecting this. Donald Trump went live and talked about crypto a couple of times. Very vague, obviously. He's always going to be vague when it comes to these things, but said, I'm committed to making America the crypto capital of the world. Shouted out Bitcoin and the advancements taking place within the sector, and rolled it into his AI conversation. So that took place. And why this is important here, why, hearing I'm committed to making America the crypto capital of the world. Well, the biggest story here, the headline story of today's episode, is going to be the United States Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick. His Cantor Fitzgerald, his company, increased the Bitcoin exposure via ETFs, MicroStrategy, now Strategy, Mara, and adds Chinese firms like Baba Baidu in JD in Q4 here. So what is this about? Well,
and Mara is Marathon, which is
it's
the largest
Bitcoin miner.
Yep.
I think all are the let me see here too. I think the Chinese ones are holding Bitcoin too, correct?
I believe so, yeah. But
so let me refresh this, because I don't know. There it goes. I need to get rid of Nord Stream, or whatever it's called, NordVPN, dude. What happened though? Lutnick is chairman and CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald, who was Trump's pick to serve as the United States Secretary of Commerce. The fund added many Bitcoin-related stocks and exchange-traded funds to its portfolio in the fourth quarter, amid the span of the United States elections, results for which were declared on November 5th. Here are the key changes here made to the fund's portfolio during the quarter. With Coinbase Global Inc., and I'm getting ad blocks, I guess, was already part of Fitzgerald portfolio during the third quarter. The stake was increased by 66% in the fourth quarter. Dang. However, the fund also added the stocks involved with Bitcoin acquisition in its portfolio.
Yeah, just for perspective, guys, this is the guy who's a big part of his, like, if America is going to be the leader for digital assets, this is the guy that's going to be a big part of making that happen. And the fact that his company's loading up on crypto things in Q3, right before election, Q4, as the election's happening, these are the type of people that are going to be the major decision makers. So this should say something.
100%. He's also holding a strategy here. iShares Bitcoin Trust, which is your actual Bitcoin ETF, they increased it by 221% in the fourth quarter. Other Bitcoin-related ETFs, the fund added to its portfolio included Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, Fidelity Wise Urgent Bitcoin Fund, and Bitwise Bitcoin ETF here, BitB. So this is big. They also increased their Ethereum Trust ETF by 1.5 or to $1.5 million, a 140% increase. Lots of big moves here. I mean, just look at that portfolio here. We're talking well over $1 billion here, guys, in exposure to Bitcoin itself. So, and he personally, by the way, also holds a ton of Bitcoin. So this is the U.S. Commerce Secretary. This is someone that's going to be responsible for all the tariffs, integrating and helping with the Sovereign Wealth Fund alongside Scott Bessent. This is who will decide whether or not crypto and Bitcoin are added to these portfolios and these different wealth funds. So incredibly bullish, anybody that's how could I say this? And my mouth's like aggravating me right now. It's like bleeding. This is just getting started. I think this cycle is just getting started. People that are bearish right now, when we're at the most bullish administration in history, it is going to be volatile. We're going to be bouncing back and forth between trading ranges. Institutions are coming into the space, but there is a moment. I don't know, again, if it's 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months from now, I do think you're going to see that valve switch where money starts pouring back into these markets. What we're really waiting on is the SPX to significantly break out past $6,100 and really start setting these new all-time highs, having a huge pullback here, which we'll cover in just a moment. But moving on to the Pi Networks token debut, a lot of you have been holding this for a very, very long time. A lot of you have been mining this. Type 1 in chat if you've been a part of the Pi Network community. I want to know who holds it. There's a lot of concerns with it, and we've been warning you guys about this since we first heard about it back in like 2020 or 2021 when they got removed off the App Store. Pi Network's token debut at $195 billion value, despite minimal liquidity. There are definite liquidity concerns as 2% market depth on OKX fails to reach $100,000. What to know here? Pi Network's native token traded with an initial diluted value. Let me see if I can get this big on the screen for you guys. With an initial diluted value of as high as $195 billion. The token debuted at $1.70 at 9 UTC, rising $2 before losing 50% of its value in the next 2 hours. It currently has a market cap of $6.1 billion. Well, it's actually a little bit lower now. It looks like, it's just dropping like a knife right now. 5.65 billion now.
Go to the all though, because see, this is the thing. I guess it looks the same. Yeah.
It just launched.
It just relaunched because this is launched. I've heard it said it's launched so many times. I don't know if it's anything real or not. I think that to me, this whole thing's just a scam to get attention or marketing or something, because there's been like Drew, I think, has a bunch of it. And I know in the past, people here talked about it a lot and had a bunch of it, made videos about it. And you always hear, to me, it reminds me of like, oh, they're getting rid of daylight savings time. Like this is the same thing. Like, oh, Pi Network is finally tradable, but it's never tradable on any exchange. There's never any liquidity. There's never any volume. They just show you fake numbers to get people excited, because everybody that I know that has it thinks they have like 6 figures, where I've got 300,000 worth of Pi. If it could ever be tradable, I'm going to be rich, kind of thing. And I think it's just, they make it show those numbers to get people excited. Yeah, it was randomly on exchanges 2 years ago at like $35 as a weird IOU thing. Yeah, I think it was on, I want to say it was on MEXC or some random exchange where you could supposedly sell it, but you were selling it for these tokens in the future at a time. So I'm not saying it will never launch, but I've heard this story so many times, it's hard to take it seriously. But yeah, it looks like there's $50,000 worth of volume on a handful of different exchanges.
Zero volume. There's your total volume. So total 24-hour volume, 191,000, 300,000 on BitGet, 333 on Gate.io, 25 million on DigiFinex apparently.
So I don't know. Let us know in the chat if you've got any Pi, or if you've ever been able to sell any or anything. Let me know. Otherwise, I think. Hold
on. God bless you.
Excuse me. Sorry, I've been a little congested the last few days, but yeah, I think as far as I can tell, this is pretty much just another, make you hit the button and see how long you'll do it kind of thing. But
yeah, it's an interesting story here, but their mainnet is live. So despite the token crashing inevitably here, we'll see what ends up rolling out from this. I would just say I'd be cautious with it here. The launch took place earlier this morning here. and we'll let you guys know. But whenever you see a token that has zero liquidity, you really need to be it's just a red flag. It's the red flag. It's like the biggest, clearest red flag ever. So when you see that, and let me just read the article from here, but several factors have been identified as contributing to the dramatic crash of Pi token. One major factor is the mass sell-off by early adopters who had accumulated Pi tokens with little to no cost. With the mainnet launching they provided zero liquidity. Many of these early miners rushed to cash in on their holdings, flooding the market with supply and driving down the price. Additionally, the skepticism surrounding the project's referral-based mining model and concerns about its long-term sustainability have further fueled the sell-off. I don't think there's anything really good about this project. Maybe people can educate me in the chat here on why they think this is the next greatest thing in the world. But I don't think you need to be able to mine crypto from your phone. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's like what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Makes no sense to me.
Yeah, we've got a question here from one of our members. Serious question from Crypto Gumby. If you were deploying 100K right now, what would your diversification look like? What do you think?
I mean, 50, 25, 25 rule as always. That never changes. So 50% is in blue chips. So I'm going to take 50K of that, put that into probably Bitcoin, some ETH, some Chainlink, some Ondo. The next 25%, so another 25 grand, is going to go into large caps. And I'd honestly probably be even a little bit more allocated right now because of the market sentiment and the conditions. Like if you're, because you're saying 100K to deploy right now today. Like as someone that's been in this market here, let me find my chart action here. I'm going to be watching this trading range. So for me, you're coming into literally the center of a trading range. I want to be pretty much dollar cost averaging in heavily towards the 91K, $91,200. So if I come in right now, I'm probably going to be pretty much focused only on blue chips and waiting for a really big crash to pick up altcoins. I mean, a lot of these altcoins, Ondo went down to, what was this? $1.12 here. I mean, when you had this first flash wick down, it went down to 90 cents. Sui here went down to $2.39, went to $2.89. So even now, from like the bottom here, which happened multiple times, you're balancing pretty well. Now, that doesn't mean it's not a bad time to dollar cost average. I'm just definitely going to be allocating to more sustainable projects that aren't going to be as volatile, just in case Bitcoin does break down to what its trading zone is of 91K, because then you're going to see 20-30% loss. So personally, Bitcoin, ETH, Ondo, Chainlink, probably with 60% of that. And then I would, if you want to dollar cost average in altcoins, I would have your watch list, which I have a huge watch list. So whether you want to go into RWA plays and go for the mantras or the plumes, and I don't even hold some of these, but like if you want to diversify, that's up to you. But I would diversify on a 50, 25, 25 basis.
There you go. No, I like that. I'm very similar. So what do you said blue chip and then large cap? When you say blue chip, is that basically Bitcoin, Ethereum, like the very large caps? Like what's the difference between large cap and blue chip to you?
To me, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much your large caps. Your large caps are going to be able to beat with it. But I want to consider DOGE like blue chip. I would put that in the higher risk. That'd be a large cap. Just because DOGE
but
is
like Ondo, maybe not a large cap, but is a blue chip to you because it's one of your favorites. Yeah.
And it is biased, but I'm also putting the perspective in like BNY Mellon and BlackRock like have both shouted out that Chainlink and Ondo are like making huge headwinds within the sector. They're also held by Trump's World Liberty DeFi. So, that is going to be, that technically should be the 25%, but I'm also biased because I'm up 4X on it. Right. But I also just look at it depends on the partnership, the utility, and like the application of these projects. So like for example, Polkadot is another L1, so we competitor to Ethereum and Solana and Sui and all these other projects. Some people might think it's a blue chip. I would just consider that large cap because there's so many uncertain headwinds that it's got to face, whether we need a merger or community growth, or, we saw the parachain slot auctions fail. We've seen a lot of things develop in these ecosystems that haven't matured properly. And so I also put that on the comparison scale when I'm looking into these projects.
All right, here's a tough one. XRP, blue chip or large cap?
XRP is a blue chip. XRP. I'd probably put Cardano as a blue chip. You also, because like what I'm looking at is like what's Ripple, what's IOHK doing? I mean, these are people that are probably going to be on the digital asset committees. They're involving themselves heavily with the Trump administration. They're very pro crypto, pro USA. That's very, very bullish for the administration that we're watching roll out with Scott Bessent, Howard Lutnick, and Donald Trump. So I'm also putting that on the scale. I would say BNB is probably blue chip. That's definitely a blue chip. Like the fact that Binance US opened back up in the United States, they're not going to go anywhere anytime soon. But really, those would be the key blue chips in my opinion. Like you could just look on here. Let me just pull up CoinMarketCap here for you guys.
There's so many good projects. It's so funny. You're listing all these projects. I'm like, yeah, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. But I've got so many other ones that, are also, I feel like, good picks, but they're also like not really controversial, like Aave and Chainlink, Ethereum. I'm betting right now pretty heavily on, I think DeFi is about to make a really strong resurgence. We've seen it already coming back with Ethereum. We've seen it on Base with Aerodrome and Morpho and some of those kind of things. Now, I've been really watching Sonic. It's been doing really well in the last month or so. The rebrand from FTM. And so now looking at even ecosystem plays within Sonic, just like we did with Base. Once we saw all the attention and volume rotating to Base, now starting to look at things within the Sonic ecosystem, I think could be, if you're doing it today. And again, I'm not saying overall, I don't know what your overall strategy is, but if you have 100K today and you're just looking to get involved, I'd keep it pretty simple. I'd put 25K into Ethereum, 25K into Aave, See, that's what's so tough. There's so many good projects. Like I would just go 25K into ETH, Aave, Ethereum, Chainlink, and then maybe start messing around in Sonic. But doing it the way you mentioned, Josh, where you're breaking it down by category is definitely smarter because at the end of the show, let's look at whatever you're looking at right now. But at the end of the show, I've got a couple other deeper Sonic picks that I'm looking at on my watch list right now that I'll talk to the audience about.
Yeah, and that would be in my VC part, which. Yeah, I completely agree with you. I wanted to point out, though, because someone in chat here, I lost the comment there, but they said, I thought blue chips was just by market cap size. I don't count it by market cap size because, for example, Dogecoin, in my opinion, it's still meme coin, so it's going to be very volatile and based off hype cycles. And watching now Elon Musk do all these things with Doge and the government, like the Department of Government Efficiency, to have like no impact really on the Doge price action. Just to me, it's like, okay, well, it's a large cap. It's going to be there forever. I don't see Doge going anywhere anytime soon, but it's not like you can look at Doge and go, oh, these 3 applications in the future are going to project Doge to a certain price point. So you can't make any educated, like research analytical, guesses or, whatever you want to call it on that projection of that project there. So the other point is too, like, look at Hex. I think Hex is a scam. That thing had a $50-60 billion market cap. Look at Pi Network hitting a $90 billion, market cap. So you can't just base it off market cap because market cap is based off also a multitude of valves and switches you can kind of think of in terms of liquidity and just the overall marketing, sniping teams, et cetera, on the back end. So it's something you got to be cautious of. Like Trump token. I want to consider Trump coin a blue chip at all, like the meme coin.
But it could be considered a blue chip meme. And that's the other thing to keep in mind, like the different categories is another way to break it down too. Like Veteran Crypto pointed out, Aave and Uni are DeFi blue chips. Arrow and Morpho are the ones up there, up and comers. If you're saying overall blue chips, I don't know if you would call Uni and Aave an overall blue chip, but like Ondo, for example, would be a blue chip for RWAs. So like the more you niche into a category, you say, all right, and really all we're saying when we say blue chip is a project that has won a large percentage of the market share, where it's like, okay, when it comes to DeFi on Ethereum, most of it's happening on Aave and Uni. Now with Base coming up, we're starting to see it shift over to Aerodrome and Morpho Labs. So that's why we would say that, similar with, in the past we had RWAs maybe on HBAR or something like that. Now we're seeing Ondo coming in and kind of stealing the thunder. So the different categories is a way to look at blue chips as well.
Just so you know, like what I do with those categories too is like, so 50, 25, 25, each category is 50, 25, 25. So like it's a perfect point of like what you're saying. So in the next 25%, let's say you want to access DeFi. When I go into DeFi and if I diversify into DeFi, it's 50, 25, 25. So like if you're in DeFi and don't hold the blue chip DeFi tokens, you're just adding a disgusting amount of more risk to your portfolio. So you should be just evenly distributing this. This is how any venture capital or hedge fund really operates here. So I completely agree with TJ there as well. So you can have your blue chip categories, but the overall portfolio is 50, 25, 25 based off of, Bitcoin sustainability, and then, so on from there, just based on of what you believe is a blue chip project. In my case, that's Ethereum, Link, the products that are tokenizing. I'm just so bullish on real world assets because it's just like decentralized science. Like DeFi, I still think is way too early. I think DeFi is going to be big in 2028, 2020, 2029. I think you need a deregulation. It's great that RFK's here. It's just going to take so much time for that industry to mature because they're still trying to figure out how to develop tokenized experiences for scientific research. And there's a lot of value and utility to it because I've seen scientists use this firsthand. And it's a really good progression. But RWAs is like here now. Real world assets and tokenizing your U.S. treasuries is here now. And banks need to use it or they're going to get left behind. It saves them it will save them trillions of dollars. And it's tokenizing tens of trillions of dollars. So that value proposition, I go, all right, that is a sector that is blue chip, in my opinion, right? Bitcoin's starting to pop here, though, $97,600, getting a little bit of life back up into here. Someone said Jasmine's a blue chip, so that's like something I wouldn't agree with. I would say Jasmine's a large cap. But Brian, if you believe it is, you can have your list and your reasons for it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Everybody in the chat saying this is a blue chip and that's a blue chip. Like, let's be honest. Like we all feel like whatever, if it's in our portfolio, it's a blue chip because we really believe in it. But
Cardano's not in my portfolio. But XRP's not in my portfolio anymore. But they're blue chips, right? Solana's I have Solana, but I'm not hugely exposed to it. Blue chip. I would say SWE is probably about to enter that blue chip category. The only reason why I wouldn't say is just yet, and you might agree with me on this, is because it's too new to determine it. I mean, that would be my only takeaway would be like, it's still a very new ecosystem, but it is a very good play.
True. But I would just say, look, if you're included in the crypto council conversations about bringing, crypto back to the US, you're probably in that blue chip category. If you're up there hanging out with the president and, David Sachs, you're probably in a pretty good position.
Yeah. And then here's a great one that I didn't even think of that people are going to go, no, Litecoin. Litecoin is definitely a blue chip. I mean, it's been around forever and it gets listed on your PayPals and Cash Apps, etc. It's like it's your boomer token. So, and again, some other projects you can perceive as blue chip. You guys got to analyze that. But to sum up before we get to this next article, 50, 25, 25 tends to work for really, it's a great model to follow. It's a great model to follow there. But Trump moles passing on 20% of DOGE savings to Americans. United States President Donald Trump told an audience in Miami that he's considering giving back to the American people and that his administration helped end Joe Biden's war on crypto. U.S. President Donald Trump said he's considering returning 20% of the savings made by Elon Musk's government cost-cutting Department Government of Efficiency. So 20% of whatever they save will go back to your pockets at the end of each year, which is huge. This is almost a stimulus check for Americans, but it's really just giving us back some of the money that they find and uncover in the economy. Now, while you're asking, why wouldn't they give back the whole 100%, Josh? We deserve the full 100%. I love how that valve switches. Now that you realize money's being wasted, you'd think that we should have it back here. It's funny how that completely shifted. Before we didn't even know our money was being wasted. We we're completely open to it. Now, we want it all back. Well, there's a lot of things we could do with this 80%. So the money that's being saved, it can go to better healthcare services. It can go better to, sovereign wealth funds, investments in the economy, and go to, a plethora of things on government spending that will be transparent and actually tracked for the first time. So very interesting concept here to see that 20%. You also have to realize, though, that I would imagine this might only happen once or twice because we're hoping to see the government actually cleaned up over the course of the next few years. So DOGE shouldn't have to be saving trillions of dollars at one point. That would be our hope. That would be out of this. But if we saw this stimulus money come back into this economy, you guys got to also realize 20% would be bigger stimulus checks than your COVID checks. So when they printed, they gave everybody, well, not everybody, because some people only got $600. Some people got $1,500 or $1,800. If you guys remember the COVID stimulus checks, what happened to your markets after that? What do people do with their savings or their stimulus from a government. They inject it back into the markets. So this, whether people want to believe it or not, incredibly bullish, not only for Americans, but our stock markets as well. So this could be a huge stimulus injection back into that economy. But I don't know if this is going to happen, whether it's this year, next year, 2 years from now. We'll have to see that kind of roll out here. But very interesting here to see that this is just not something I would have thought of, man, to be honest with you guys. Pretty cool to see. I don't know. We'll get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great, definitely for what we need, and also, like, to your point, reminder of what we got with the stimulus checks. A lot of people, this is even old. This is March 2024, but even in 2024, if you put that $1,200 in, it became $12,000. So you would have 10x your money on that. So it's probably, I think I saw a thing the other day, it was like 19 grand or something like that. And so I think we're going to see that again. Yeah, a lot of people just immediately dump their money right into crypto, right into Bitcoin, because I think that is what caused a lot of people to question it the first time. A lot of people that I've been talking about crypto to for a very long time, saying, hey, you should invest in Bitcoin. You put your savings in Bitcoin. You should buy a little Bitcoin. They finally started to listen when this random money just appeared in their account for no reason. Like, wait a minute, the government just put money in my bank account. Where did this money come from? Why did it get here? How did it get here? So yeah, I think it's a good idea to give some of that money back, some of that savings back to market participants to stimulate the economy. I don't think it's going to fix anything necessarily, but I do think it would be good for the economy, good to get people to put it, hopefully into crypto, which I think will happen. So
yeah, my question's going to come into, and this is what I would love a White House press pass for, is because 5,000, like some people are going, I'd ate my $5,000. That is great. But you also have to realize there needs to be the conversation and math done on how much money we can even give Americans. So you can't just give every American $5,000 or $10,000 because they're going to inject that into the markets. And it's gonna shock supply chains. So what will happen is this money will be injected in products and goods and services will be purchased, and it will be drained. And so when a demand for supply, or when demand's higher than supply, it causes inflation. So there also has to be a strategy. This is why we can't, like, if let's say 100% savings went back to Americans and everybody received $30,000, you can't do that. Everything is going to it'd be such a big supply shock to the markets. It would break evaluations. Inflation would run rampant. So this is like the questions that we need to ask to the press secretary, to the president, to Howard Lutnick. Like, how do you guys see rolling out what would be $1 trillion in stimulus to the markets, and how would that affect inflation and everyday consumers? These are what we need to start strategy on. However, it will also go through on the opposite side, where if we have these tariffs embedded on foreign nations, and they're just reciprocal, right? Like at this point, that was genius. They're like, hey, we're going to just put the same tariffs you have on us. And people are like, oh, that's fair. How are we going to complain against that? It's not the end of the world. But now it's going to create a bigger demand for U.S. goods, because if we were to get this 20%, Americans are buying U.S. companies, U.S. projects, U.S. markets. It's going to be good for our markets. So very good for potentially the U.S. dollar here as well. And I'm very interested in having these conversations with all of these leaders here in the United States. We have Balls here, Balls to the Wall, $5 super chat. I got an article alert from Coinpedia that the SEC has dropped cases against crypto firms. Is this true? Yes. So they actually dropped their cases, I think, the day they came into the new administration took place. Most of the cases that were done by the SEC were revolving around Operation Choke Point 2.0. And they were using regulation by enforcement. So they didn't actually have a regulatory structure involved to approach a company with a Wells notice and say, hey, you've done A, B, and C wrong. Therefore, you need to pay fines for A, B, and C. They would just come in and slap a Wells notice, slap a lawsuit against these corporations and say, you've done bad things. You need to pay us, and we'll get back to you. And the companies reach back out saying, okay, well, what did we do wrong? And the SEC goes, we don't know. We just know you've done something wrong. I believe it or not, you may think I'm just, speaking gibberish, or I'm sounding like Kamala Harris here and just, regurgitating words. That is what the SEC was doing here. They're facing so much scrutiny now. And what Gary Gensler did and the Biden administration did was just simply attack and suppress the sector for whatever reason. And now a lot of that is being uncovered here. And now the doors are opening up. Now, on top of this, I don't want to think it's going to go this well, but there's also the possibility where the Trump administration is going to eliminate the IRS. I guess today they're supposed to lay off a ton of, I think it was like 6,000 IRS workers as well. I don't know if you have that article, TJ, but yeah, that big layoff for IRS agents. And they want to flow them into two things. Either you got to go help with the border if you're an IRS agent, or you're going to go to the ERS, which is the external tax revenue system. So there's also a possibility, and people don't want to admit this. They don't want to believe it's true because it's too good to be true, where we're not paying federal income taxes as U.S. taxpayers in the near future because everything will be accumulated from outside sources. So this is not my words either, chat. This is Howard Lutnick. This is Scott Bessent, our U.S. Treasury Secretary, our Commerce Secretary. This isn't Josh just rambling saying, oh, Josh is a far-right MAGA like lover bird. It's like, this is what our regulators and our leaders are saying that are controlling our markets. So we got to kind of just stay up to date with everything that they produce out of this here. The SEC has dismissed, though, its appeal. Oh, so this actually, we spoke too soon. We jumping the gun here. The SEC has dismissed its appeal in a case over crypto broker deal rules that would have given the agency jurisdiction over decentralized crypto protocols. This is corruption. This is authoritarianism. This is tyrannical. The fact that the SEC thought that they had the power to control a network that has no power, it's decentralized, there's no central authority, is absolutely ridiculous. And so it's really, really bullish to see this. You have a lot of people working hard right now at Capitol Hill, fighting against the corporations that are lobbying for this. You have a lot of financial institutions that are lobbying for these on the back end, guys. The banks want to control all the on-ramps and off-ramps to crypto, all of these broker dealers. They want to control the retail audience, and they hate decentralization. So they're going to be trying to limit the access from retail so you custody with banks. So that way they can borrow and lend against your assets and continue their fractional banking system. So good to see this. This is a very positive direction for the crypto space. Very exciting for me. I'm stoked, honestly, to see it here. We have Vitalik Buterin criticizing blockchain casinos, suggests Ethereum won't follow Solana's approach to meme coins, which is so funny because there's so many blockchain casinos built on Ethereum here. I think stake, you can use Ethereum to literally trade on stake and other platforms. But Buterin rejected claims that Ethereum is intolerant for avoiding gambling-style apps, emphasizing the need for blockchain ethics. This, in my opinion, is complete utter bullshit. This is, I'm not I don't know if Vitalik likes the communism side of things. I believe in decentralization and free markets and free tools and free systems. And if somebody wants to build a casino application on top of a decentralized network, they should be able to. Now, obviously, there should be code and implementations of not being able to drain portfolios and, prevent bad actors and that type of stuff. But at the same time, just banning casinos, that does not sound like decentralization to me, TJ.
No, definitely not. I think what I don't know. I can't. It's hard for me to make an opinion on Vitalik. I feel like he can't really catch a break these days. Like if he says it one way, if he makes a joke one way, he's wrong. If he makes a stand another way, he's wrong. He's never going to please everybody. And I do think he is somewhat of a victim of trying to please too many people. I think he just needs to keep doing what he's doing and build. And I think Ethereum's going to do fine. Because I do think, there needs to be freedom. Now, what is he saying that there needs to be some ethics in crypto? Sure. That'd be great for there to be more ethics in the world in general, some good morals. But generally speaking, this is you're not going to start with the most ethical people in there. And really, ethics is a fancy word for rules and regulation. And that's my concern a lot of times is when people start talking about ethics, what they really mean is walls and boundaries and gates that they can keep certain people out of, and they can claim a moral superiority and some kind of ethical high ground, but they're not really going to play within those same rules. And that's the concern with permission. So I think we're always going to have permissioned chains, and I don't think there's anything wrong with having permissioned chains. But we always want to have permissionless options where anybody can participate. Anybody who wants to participate can participate. Trying to protect people from themselves, I think, is a very dangerous game. So I don't advocate for that. But we're going to see it. It's not going to, it's always going to be here. So
yeah, my thoughts are more so just like, because I have nothing against it. Like if he doesn't want to support casinos, just say you don't support them. You know, it's like, but like if you also support a decentralized network, you should allow a free market on top of that network.
Totally.
Or else we're no better than the banks, right? We're no better than our centralized ecosystems that already exist. So, you know, for me, it's like, but there's nothing wrong with that. I think that we definitely, as an industry, where I'll agree with Vitalik, is we need to start morally, we need to start holding these casinos and these meme coins accountable, these creators accountable. You know, like the fact that people are mad at CoffeeZilla for exposing all of these scam products is crazy to me. It's like, dude, like whether or not these people actually get in trouble or not, or actually doing something bad or not, he's shedding light on a lot of discrepancies that are very bad and toxic for the space. And it's like, if we don't hold anybody accountable, if these ecosystems, decentralized these ecosystems don't hold anybody accountable, it's going to just create more chaos and it's going to hurt crypto more than it benefits it. So we'd like to see that roll out here, but interesting take there. Ethereum also, though, not necessarily the best place to launch casinos. I mean, right now gas fees are cheap, but you do historically want a very cheap, fast transacting network like Solana. So that way, or Polygon Matic, I've seen a lot of casinos on because you need the cheap transaction costs. So there's also that, which is interesting there. But all right, we got Libra here. 86% of Libra traders have realized a loss of more than $1,000. That's absolutely insane here. Over 13,000 investors in the Libra meme coin endorsed by Argentina President Javier Milei lost a combined $251 million, according to blockchain research firm Nansen. On-chain data shows that the hardest hit investors of the Libra meme coin pump and dump lost a combined love reading things 3 times because that's how articles work today. On the flip side, the other 2,100, we don't care. Guys, $250 million drained. Absolutely insane. People got wrecked.
86% though. That's crazy. I mean, basically, and I think DZ and I were looking at this morning. This was of the percentage of people that made or lost $1,000, but still. So of the people that, you know, their P&L was over $1,000, negative or positive, 86% of them lost at least $1,000. That just shows how high the percentage of losers were with this compared to the winners, which is why so many people are upset. Now, I think this is getting, I don't know why it seems like these things are getting more and more airtime these days. Like, this is not necessarily new to crypto. We've had a lot of this kind of stuff. They're just getting more dramatic, I feel like. So I think main way they go away is if they stop getting so much attention and dramatic. If people stop rushing in and buying this stuff, that would definitely help. So to me, this is just another way that's going to help us move back towards quality, towards utility, towards things that are actually building and doing something in the space. I did, before we wrap up too much, wanted to talk about Sonic a little bit and part of what I've been looking at here. So, and this, I come back to this too. When people talk about Solana flipping Ethereum, like, sure, maybe if you want to talk about market cap, it's got a potential, but like when you look at DeFi, TVL, like Solana or Ethereum isn't even close. But anyway, Sonic is making its way up. So I've been watching Sonic on, you know, its rise in DeFi, and Andre Cronje, if you guys don't know who he is, he's been a big innovator in DeFi for a very long time. A lot of the breakthrough finds on DeFi are his creation, his invention. And so some of this stuff is like, it's good to see him back in, you know, hey, I'm going to release my best products right now when there's regulatory clarity. It's been absolutely crushing it. So it's one I've been watching. Obviously, you guys know I like to do a lot of stuff when it comes to DeFi. It's been on an absolute tear when it comes to TVL. I mean, this is just in the past. This is January right here. So basically from 27 to 623 million in total value locked just in the last couple of months. So, but with that, you guys have heard me talking about this. I wanted to give you, before we wrapped up, some of these kind of ecosystem picks that we're seeing in here. And so you've seen, you know, Shadow Exchange. Obviously, some of these have already had a huge run up. So I'm not saying to go out and buy them, but I sometimes will buy into these run ups. This is what I did with Base and some of those kind of aerodrome type plays. Is even though they're running up, if it looks good, I just start to accumulate it. And then if it dips a little bit, I buy some more. But some of these ones that I'm looking at here, Avalon or Shadow Exchange and SwapX are both seem to be the top dexes on there. And Avalon Labs has all these different BitLayer, which, okay, that's Bitcoin DeFi Core, that's Bitcoin DeFi Sonic, and a lot of other ones. So looking at the chains that they have, And the fact that this is going to be, this looks like it could be what's beginning the Bitcoin DeFi ecosystem through Sonic, much like what I was seeing with wrapped Bitcoin on Base through Aerodrome and Morpho. So this seems to be where the rotation is going. I believe you guys showed the last couple of days a lot of the flows leaving Solana going into Sonic. So yeah, SwapX, one that I'm watching, keeping an eye on here. You're seeing the same thing, big spikes in value going up there. ShadowX, the other one that's getting most of the fees on there, 100 million already in TVL with a $30 million market cap. So again, when you get high TVLs and low market cap, that's usually pretty good. We've got this one, Avalon Labs, already almost 2 billion market in TVL. So anyway, just things to keep an eye on within the Sonic ecosystem. A lot of good progress going there. And I think, to me, right now, that's the next rotation in DeFi. I mean, still super bullish on Arrow and Base and everything going on there. Still like Radium, but obviously Radium and Jupiter got hit hard with this Malay stuff and Solana stuff. And if a lot of the DeFi players are looking to rotate out of Solana, it looks like where that value is flowing is into Sonic right now. So those are some of the deeper altcoin picks that I'm watching right now and messing with. And just want to share that. So
heck yes, guys. Heck yes. Some comments here from the chat here. Sonic will crush the cycle here from Steven Trevino. World War saying just Zebek is fire, man. I haven't looked at Zebek in a long time. I wonder what they're up to here. Granny was saying that it was more like 1 billion TVO, but the way it's accounted for shows only 500 million. So even saying maybe there's more value locked within the Sonic ecosystem.
Yeah, there could be. I mean, there's definitely some funky ways they do some of that accounting stuff, and they count TVL, and I know there's definitely counted in a weird way that makes Cardano's looks lower than normal, but yeah, there's definitely, again, and a lot of times, even especially with brand new projects, the reporting's delayed and late. So it'll just be blank in a lot of categories. When you go do some digging on chain, you'll find like, oh man, this protocol is crushing it. So yeah, I think it's looking good.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's any breaking news here. Doesn't look like too much flowing through it. Just the market's starting to rebound here quite a bit. I saw that Mitch McConnell's not seeking re-election, I believe. I mean, the dude's literally a potato. He's a fried potato. I don't know if you've said that. That needs to happen. We need to like have mental tests or something for like, it's crazy, dude. A lot of these politicians, Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, literally had hip surgery. Like you need to retire. You need to retire. We can't have these excess limit terms. What about the Solana unlock and March unlocks? We've proven Antonius don't really matter in a bull market at all. Really ever. It's kind of a hit or miss. Polkadot, Solana, they tend to pump and absolutely rip after unlocks. Unlocks are just a retail FUD source. And usually they're priced in months and months and months in advance, or they just don't really have a social impact now. It depends on the market conditions.
And they've gotten a lot better with the way they do. Most of them are linear unlocks now. The market has learned the right way to distribute tokens for the most part without having a huge impact on the price. You have to remember, these projects don't want their token price to dump into oblivion either, for the most part. Like, they're legitimate projects. They want slow and steady growth. That's what's healthiest for most projects. So they're starting to get better at that sort of thing. And if you look at the unlock schedules, you always need to be aware of them. But most of the time they're linear, where you're getting monthly drips or quarterly drips or something like that. So you need to be aware of them. You need to be aware of how much is going to insiders, and you need to be aware of the demand on the chain. But for the most part, when there are these major chains, unless it's like a 50% of the supply getting unlocked all at once, especially going into a bull market, you should be okay. Going into a bear market, when liquidity is leaving the system, when everything's going down, and then you get a big unlock, and VCs are desperate to find liquidity because all of their projects are crashing around them, and they're going to sell anything they can as soon as they get their hands on it. Then you should be concerned about. But right now, at least for the next year and a half-ish, I don't think there's a huge concern for it.
Yeah, I'd have to completely agree with you here, guys. Markets are doing well here for today. So tonight we'll be putting out, we have some great videos coming out with some coverage here tonight. May or may not be live here around 4 p.m. So you guys want to make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. It all depends on whether or not they inject me with a bunch of drugs today. So yeah. I will hopefully let you guys know, but I can't be up on dope on YouTube. It's
you're not gonna do one of those Danny, what was it, Danny after Dennis kind of videos? Like, you don't even, is this real life or whatever? Yeah.
I'm like seeing zebras and shit. But we'll see. I don't think they're not putting me under anything. I think they just might end up like numbing the side.
You just need to make sure they tell you when the top's gonna be, so we can all get rich.
Dude, so true, guys. All right, guys, appreciate for being here. We'll talk to you guys here soon. Peace out.